Hey guys, it's George from Jono's Minis. In today's video we're going to be playing around with the inks from Liquitex. It's their 6-piece ink set from the Essentials range, and it comes with blue, umber, black, red, white, and umber. I've said that before. But it comes with 6 colours. Black, blue, yellow. And I think you're going to be surprised how easy this will just boost your painting vibrancy in every mini you do. But they also have their ups and downs. So let's start the video and I can show you. So here I am just trying to get an idea for how these inks might compare to acrylic paints. And as you can see, they are incredibly vibrant and just full of colour. So I'm really excited to get into this test and see how they compare to the acrylic paints which I always use. So what I want to do here is, same as always, I'm going to prime the minis with the black ink from Liquitex. I've got this Nighthaunt model, and then I've got an Orc Brute from Age of Sigmar. As you can see, the black is incredibly shiny. It's so glossy. But the white ink, it's so nice when on top of the black. So I think the best way to use the white ink is definitely prime it with a normal Citadel or Vallejo or Army Painter primer. Then the zenithal highlight of the ink, it looks amazing. And just look at this red, it's so nice, so rich, so deep in colour, and there's no speckling at all. Now then, the ink colour, amazing. The red, super vibrant, makes Mephiston red from GW look like a pile of crap. So that's going out, the ink's coming in. But did you notice something about both inks, the black and the red? It's like a mirror. They are so glossy, so shiny. You'd have to wear sunglasses playing with these models on a tabletop. So a few ways around it which I figured out. Number 1, AK's Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish. Equal parts airbrush thinner to equal parts AK Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish. I used 2 thin layers applied through an airbrush. Our Orc miniature went from a shiny mirror down to a mute matte coloured mini, which, if that's what you want, which is great, but I think it was a little bit too matte, so maybe just use one. Second option, Citadel's Muniturum Varnish. How the f*** do you say that? Muniturum Varnish. Product's great. You can apply it through an airbrush, or you can buy it in the spray can, or you can even buy it in the small GW pots and paint it on. I use these on pretty much every model I paint. Now then, to my surprise, wet blending for the metal sword was really fun, really enjoyable. Like the inks, I don't know if it was particularly just these colours, but they worked really well, and I really like doing this actually. I think the inks are quite hard to paint with as they are, but really, I mean, with wet blending, for at least this sword, it was really fun, and the colour was just so nice. So I think the sword, at least, for the metal, it was really enjoyable, and I'm definitely going to do this again in a lot of projects in the future. Now then, moving on to the skin, I just couldn't make a green that didn't make this mini look like the Hulk. Every green I did, it just looked so snot green, it was horrible. I spent the most time on this mini trying to fix the skin, and I ended up just giving up. Whereas for the red, I mean, it's really vibrant, colour's really rich. I'll definitely be using the red again for sure. I'm just making a quick base using Vallejo's water texture acrylic for the first time, seeing if I could get any water texture, at least play around with it. Didn't really work, but you never know until you try, do you? And here was the end result after 3 hours of painting with strictly just inks. Whilst the mini spins around somewhere here or here, the skin looks a bit like the Hulk. It's so hard to kind of match the colours and play around with the inks, because like acrylic paints, when you paint it, it dries a different colour. But the inks are very... It's like painting with a full coloured glaze. It's really weird, so actually controlling that pigment and where it sits is really hard. I think the Mini probably took me 3 hours all in all to paint. I used the ink for the blade. Blade looks wicked. I really like the blade. It was nice actually like blending the colours whilst it was still active on the blade. But as for the skin, I didn't like the skin. I was happy with how the red armour turned out, but I just couldn't get the skin. So I started airbrushing with this green colour I made, and the colour itself was really nice, really vibrant. You could really see it if it was to be on a tabletop from a distance, but it started to corrode the ink and stripped it down to its base layer, which I've never seen before, so I kind of have put this project completely on the back burner for now, and I'll get around to it again in the future. After spending hours and hours and hours of trying to get my head around how to use this ink properly, I think I'm going to call this video done, and I will come back to this in my own time and just try and figure it out, because I've been pulling my hair out why it stripped the Nighthorn down to its base. So I'm calling it done. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm going to stick to good old reliable and carry on just painting with acrylic paints. Overall, I'd give it 7. No, overall, I'd give the inks a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. Loses points definitely on the shininess, just how hard it is to use in normal painting. Whereas acrylic paints kind of cover all bases. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 on no speckles though. That's amazing for the airbrush if it doesn't strip the entire paint job. Alright, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with your friends. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Patreon, which I've just started if you want to check it out. Keep all the support up, you guys are awesome. See you next week.